Predator series has had a rough run for a big chunk of its existence. I know each of these movies has its fans, and as a lover of schlock, I can't fault anyone for loving what they love. But the Predator never got the same respect that Alien did, even with the missteps of that franchise. The misguided and mythology-heavy AVP movies took much of the mystique out of the character, and put the hunter in some truly awful and goofy positions. I mean, what is this scene? Predators was on the right path by semi-returning to the original's formula, but forgot the horror that went along with it, giving us a bland and forgettable entry with subpar action and a waste of Adrian Brody. When Shane Black returned as director and co-writer for The Predator, most, including me, assumed we'd be getting the quality and intensity of the 1987 original. And well, we were wrong. I mean, this went R-rated Marvel because of reasons. Even with heavy reshoots and studio interference, I can't see something like this working outside of an actual parody. They'll try to keep spoilers to a minimum. If you want to walk into this completely blind, be warned. I'll be discussing things that have been released in trailers, clips, and photos, so, heads up. See, I wasn't sure what to expect with Prey. Since this series has had a complicated case of diminishing returns.
Pretty cool, huh?
Packaged with an exclusive Hulu launch. Not to be the eternal pessimist here, but after a while you just gotta read the signs and bet accordingly. And you know what?
I was wrong.
But the internet had this movie pegged as something it wasn't. I'm glad to say that Prey understood the assignment and wisely went back to the basics, giving us a small, personal story that leans heavily into suspense and horror. Aspects the series has been missing for far too long. Okay, so let's get down to details. Prey tells the story of Naru, played by Amber Midthunder, a member of the Comanche tribe, who's ready to make her transition into that of a warrior. Though seen as not ready to make her traditional Katamiya or Big Hunt, Naru must prove herself in the ultimate way when she faces off against a fierce alien hunter on its very first visit to Earth. Stripping things way down from the previous high-octane action film The Predator, Prey makes a wise choice to go intimate. Now, besides a few random tribe members, the only major character besides Naru is her brother Tabe, played by Dakota Beavers. As a mentoring and a tough warrior, Dakota Beavers plays Tabe with a sense of humility. Yet when it's time to act and defend his people, he is one tough SOB. Things are small scale here, and following essentially one character for the majority of the runtime makes for a far more rewarding experience. Let's be clear, this is Amber Midthunder's movie, and she holds her own throughout. Something the trailers frame incorrectly is Naru's purpose and journey. Instead of something as ridiculous as fighting the patriarchy, it's more down to how ready she is in the moment, and asks, has her training level reached the necessary competency of where Naru needs to be? This isn't a story of an already overpowerful warrior that men don't allow, but the journey of this woman who's ready to step up and take on the challenge. She struggles and fails, yet has the determination to keep going. Her journey of self-discovery and pushing her physical and mental limits makes her character so damn likable. It's watching Naru try, fail, yet getting back up and keep on punching. It's a speech from Balboa.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
No matter what's written on the page, it can only work if the actress can sell the heart and soul of the character. And like I said, Amber Midthunder owns it as Naru, resilient yet vulnerable, and the character never feels less feminine like it's a generic gender swap, but one that's fully fleshed out, living in the 1700s. I mean, it's classic stuff, and though Prey isn't breaking any new ground, director Dan Trachtenberg and writer Patrick Eisen take their time developing Naru. This brings me to another positive, and one I was happy to see: the time spent developing the threat. Going back to the first two entries, the Predator is less of a focus and more of a background threat. It takes a lot of restraint not to just toss the famous alien in every other scene, but that's what they do here. I mean, it's past the 40-minute mark before we even see the full profile. I feel the Predator works best when treated like the shark from Jaws. Ever present, but rarely in sight, until it needs to be. And for the first time in a long time, I actually feared the Predator's arrival. In true monster fashion, when he does show up, it becomes an absolute bloodbath. And we get a more feral, scrappier version, compared to the polished hunter that shows up in the jungles of Guatemala to fight Dutch and his comrades. This Predator hunts from the second he lands. His main sights are aimed at the Comanche tribe, but he fights various wildlife along the way. Dane DeLegra is vicious as the space hunter and brings a physicality paired with the brute intensity that just may be my second favorite in terms of performance. I mean, this version of the Predator is just plain mean.
Man, that's just mean. That's mean, man.
The design is once again updated along with a few different toys, and the famous shoulder cannon is in beta form here. But one of my favorite changes we get is the skull biomask. Adding to the older version we're seeing, it gives this Predator a savage and animalistic vibe. Now here's the deal, it's hard to challenge Kevin Peter Hall, whose iconic presence made the character. And let's be honest, the king's a king. But DeLegra does a fine job of making it his own. Now on the downside, Prey's biggest weakness is budget, and specifically the CGI. I get it, corners need to be cut. But man, the CGI animals, the blood, and even some of the Predator effects look way too wonky and rough around the edges. I get that after the failure of the last few movies, that money just can't be the same. Another thing that didn't really work was the comically evil French fur trappers. And here's the thing, I get the reason behind their inclusion, and we'll even admit the battle between them is pretty damn wild and beautifully shot. But holy hell, they come off as incredibly over the top. And listen, I get it. The Europeans are no good. That's what we're running with. But this ends up coming off like a hilarious overcorrection. I mean, read The Rise and Fall of the Comanche Empire. But that aside, Prey is a terrific looking movie. And Dan Trachtenberg uses the open landscape and milks every ounce of beauty out of it. And of course, accompanied by its outstanding and adventurous score, courtesy of Sarah Schachner. And though the gore is mostly CGI, and honestly, it is what it is at this point, that's the movies we see. As much as I want everything to be practical, it's just not the world we live in. I will admit this is one brutal flick that doesn't shy away from the red stuff, even if it doesn't look amazing. Now, is this the best since the original? No, I'm sorry, but Predator 2 was the perfect sequel and was able to go bigger and crazier without losing the identity, the horror, or the mystique. And I'm sorry, but once you introduce the cocaine-loving Scorpio, you just can't compete. And to no one's surprise, it is not better than the original either. I'm not sure if that's even a legit question or why that's even on the table, but Prey fits nicely into its own niche category and is a refreshing third entry, and one that sets up a winning formula for the foreseeable future, taking a small, intimate story in different timelines facing different predators. But for Prey, think Apocalypto meets Predator. All in all, I'm giving this one a 7 out of 10. And hey, help us out if you can. Don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, we do appreciate the support. And until next time, guys.
It knows how to hunt. I know how to survive.